Raise your hand if you have ever tried to pick an information from your phone and 30 minutes later, you found yourself still scrolling social media. Raise up your hand. Yes, my hand is up because you are not alone. When you feed your brain with so many things, you may feel you are having fun at the moment, but by the time you withdraw and settle down, your brain cannot even pick one thing that you have tried to achieve within that frame of time that you have spent scrolling on social media. You see people say my mental health. Cut down on that area first. You now see whether your mental health will improve or not. Hello, Unfiltered community. Welcome to another episode of Unfiltered with Love by Babajide. This is a podcast where we strip off all the filters and talk about real life issues that truly matter. And today, I want us to talk about something very important. Something that affects virtually every one of us. I'm talking about social media addictions and how we can take back control of our digital lives. Now, raise your hand if you have ever tried to pick an information from your phone and 30 minutes later, you found yourself still scrolling social media. Raise up your hand. Yes, my hand is up because you are not alone. I'm also one of those people that, wants to pick something from social media and 30 minutes is gone, you're still scrolling. Now, the way social media is designed, it's designed to keep all of us hooked to our screens, such that time passes us by without us even knowing. But today, we're going to talk about how we can break free from such and live a more intentional life. If you think about it, you wonder why social media is so addictive. The way they designed it is for us to stay on social media. Every notification, every like, every comment, you receive a notification for virtually everything. And you may think that it's just a habit, but it is deeper than that. Every single time you get those notifications, there's a chemical called dopamine that is released every time. And it wants you to just get more. You want to get more. It keeps you glued such that you may spend 6 hours and you may not even know that you have spent time. You will not feel stressed immediately until maybe later when you are alone and then your brain just shows that sign that, please, I just want to shut down. And the more you scroll, the more you want to keep scrolling. And before you know it, you are where you don't want. So then I remember one time like that. Usually I don't use my phone in the morning. I even developed more discipline for that in recent times. But this was way back, I think 2021, 2022. I wanted to do something that day on my phone. And I picked my phone around, let's say 8 a.m. in the morning. And before I knew what was going on, it was already past 1. I just picked, and I felt like I just picked this phone just now. And before I knew it, time has passed. And that's just how it is with social media. And if you are a user of TikTok, my God, hey, I had to uninstall that app at some point. Because if you love videos so much, it's just a place that you can get lost easily. All right. And we may feel like all these things do not matter until we get to understand that there are detrimental effects to these things. And one of it is the mental overload. All right. When you feed your brain with so many things, you may feel you are having fun at the moment, but by the time you withdraw and settle down, your brain cannot even pick one thing that you have tried to achieve within that frame of time that you have spent, scrolling on social media. It can be so bad that your brain does not even have time to process your own thoughts. And it's just like when you're using your phone and you open like 50 tabs at the same time. That kind of overload, it gets too much. And that's why we are easily mentally exhausted. You see people say my mental health. Cut down on that area first. You now see whether your mental health will improve or not. The second negative effect of social media overuse would be the fact that it's a productivity killer. It kills productivity. Have you ever planned to do something like myself? The example I gave earlier. You plan to do something in the morning or at any time of the day, and you just say, well, let me just check my phone. And before you know it, that time is gone. And the things you're supposed to do early in the morning or at the earlier part of the day, you couldn't even achieve it. And you have to move that task from that day to the next day. And the bad thing about it is that even when you move the task from the present day to the next day, if you go back to use your phone the way you did the previous day, you will still need to move that task again. So it kills your productivity. Every time you plan it out like that, check it. Check when you plan a day and then pick your phone to scroll aimlessly on social media, you will see that you can't end up achieving the things that you plan to achieve. And it's so sad. The third negative effect I really want to call our attention to is the fact that it aids unnecessary comparison. Social media overuse aids comparison. It puts you in that trap of comparison. And I think in the last episode, we spoke about comparison. If you've not seen that video, you may want to check. We may leave the link for the video up here, right? Check it out. We talked about comparison and how social media is actually one way one can fall into the comparison trap. By the time you are scrolling on social media, you scroll this one, you see this one is getting married, that one just had a baby, this one just did this, that one just did. There's just a way that you just feel less than yourself because all you have done all through that day is spend time scrolling on social media. And it should not be so. If you want to have a life that is full of joy, you want to cut down on the use of social media or scrolling aimlessly on social media. Last negative effect I want to call our attention to will be that social media overuse actually weakens real life relationships. And I'll give you an example before you deny it. I think it was some time ago, I caught myself and my husband, almost falling into this trap, such that when he's out in the morning to work and he comes back at night, we have fun for the first 5-15 minutes, and before we know it, everybody's busy with their phone. The first time I noticed that thing, I thought it was a joke. And I saw later that we have spent 20 minutes with our phone, much more than we have spent with ourselves, more time. And that's what happens in many homes. The father says he's busy, he goes to work since morning. By the time he comes back home, he says, oh, I'm with you, I spend time in the house. But you are not spending time in the house, you are pressing your phone. Spending time with your family is different from pressing your phone while seated with your family. These are two different things, right? And this is what social media overuse causes. So we end up spending more time on social media, and it weakens our real life relationship because the time we're supposed to spend with our loved ones, we end up spending it on social media. Even as babes, you decide to go out, for instance, to have fun. Before you know it, first 5 minutes, if people are at the restaurant having fun, and before you know what's happening, somebody brings out their phone, the other person her phone, that one too her phone. Everybody's attention has been divided. From the main reason why you left your house is to come to the restaurant to have fun with your girls, right? Those are part of the damages, the negative effects of social media overuse. Now that we have talked about the detrimental effects of social media overuse, I want us to really look at the things we can do to take back control. How can we take back control? Because if we do not intentionally take back control, we're going to find ourselves repeating this same mistake I've mentioned again. Right. The first thing we want to do is to track your screen time. Yes. Some phones, or let me say most phones, now have features that will help you to track how long you've spent on a particular app. Right. You want to switch on that mode on your phone. Look at it. By the time you check the time you spend, oh my God, you'll be shocked. This day and age, we complain that 24 hours is not enough. That's not true. The reason why it looks like 24 hours is not enough is because we spend a lot of time on our phones. And we're not even tracking screen time. So you want to go back and go track your screen time. Check how long you spend on social media. Eventually, you will see that the time you spend on social media is much more than the time that you spend with family, with your job, with other important things in your life. So when you have that knowledge that you spend more time on social media, it will help you to be conscious of how you use social media and how to cut down the time you spend on social media. Now, the second thing would be to set daily limits. Yes. So if you have checked your phone and you see that you spend a lot of time on social media, maybe like 5 hours plus or 6 hours plus, some of us even spend more than that. Yes, spend more than that. But let's say 5 hours plus. Next thing you want to do is to make sure that you set a time limit. Set a goal that, okay, maybe today I won't spend more than an hour on social media. I won't spend more than 2 hours on social media. Yeah? So when you do that, it helps you take control back of your time. And mind you, I hope you're aware that if you give somebody money, you can get it back. But anything you invest your time in, it has gone. And your life is made up of time. That's what makes up our life, time, all right? So we shouldn't allow social media to steal this time from us. So track your screen time and also set daily limits. Create no phone zones. Yes. You can decide that maybe when you are having your morning routine, you're not going to use your phone. Or maybe when you are having breakfast, Maybe when you're having your devotion. Of course, if you're having your devotion, you should try as much as possible not to use your phone. Because once your phone is there, you know that you're going to get distracted. So create those zones in your life. For your kids too, create no phone zones for them too. Maybe when they're having breakfast, just make sure that there's a time that they are away from their phones, right? And I mentioned kids because nowadays I see that many parents use their phones to keep their children busy. And so if they want to get something done for 5-6 hours, all they think they need to do is to give their children phones to, go get busy. But it's not supposed to be like that, because there's a detrimental effect that has on that child. Even in church, I think there was one day in church that a child was crying, so you think that something had happened, and the parent gave the phone to the child, and the child stopped crying immediately. What I saw there was that this child is already used to, having a phone, having excessive screen time, right? And that's why it was very easy for them to be able to tame the child using phone. Your phone is not something you should use to tame your child, because if they spend too much time on that phone, it has a detrimental effect on their brain, on their well-being as children. And the fourth thing I would say is to turn off non-essential notifications. My God, I had to do this for my Facebook, because every single time somebody likes my comments, Facebook is telling me, pom. I heard that sound, pom. So if 10 people are liking comments, pom, 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 10 times, and I'm going to constantly get distracted. So I had to turn it off, so that when I want to know whether somebody has liked my comment or has dropped something important for me, I go to my phone intentionally to check for those things, right? So turn off those non-essential notifications. And number 5 would be to take social media breaks. Have you ever tried to go one full day without your phone? I mean, one full day. Try it. See, you will not faint. I promise you. Because I know you're already looking at me with one side of your eye. Nothing will happen. I'm telling you, nothing will happen. And I remember sometime in 2024, 23, I felt really sick and I could not even hold my phone. And then I had a business I was doing and people were placing orders. I was hearing my phone beside me, but I was too weak. I was too tired to pick it up, right? And I spent like 3 days without my phone. And when I spent those days without my phone, I think I felt better. There was this breath of fresh air, because I had to replace it with other activities. The time I spent on social media, I had to replace it with other activities. You want to try it? Spend more time with your loved ones. Spend more time with your with reading, right? Read, do something differently, right? And the last one I want to say, the last advice I want to give on how to take back control of your digital life would be that you can replace that time with better activities. The time you spend on social media, replace it, like I said earlier. So instead of actually spending time on social media, you can decide to pick your book and journal. When last did you even write in a book? Because you can write on you have not picked a pen in a while. Go and try it. So at the end of the day, social media is just a tool that's supposed to serve us, not the other way around. We're not supposed to be serving social media, right? And I tell you, you don't need to delete your account. You just need to set boundaries that will help you to be much more intentional with the use of social media. If you set such boundaries, then it will be easier for you to go through your day and be even more productive than you can imagine. So here's my challenge for you this week. Pick one of the tips that I've mentioned and try it out this week. It could be reducing your screen time, tracking your screen time, or even completely staying off from your phone in 1 week. So here's my challenge for you this week. Pick one of the tips that I've shared with you and try it out. And let me know how that works out, okay? So we've come to the end of this particular episode. And if this episode spoke to you in a way, I want to hear from you. Let me know if I missed out anything, or if you have better tips that you can share with us. Do well to share it in the comment section. And if you're yet to subscribe and join the family and join the Unfiltered community, then you want to hit that subscribe button right now. Hit it now. Hit the subscribe button right now and be a part of what we do here. Thank you so much for tuning in to Unfiltered with Love Babajide today. Until I see you in my next episode, stay present and stay unfiltered. Bye.